To prevent my child from becoming the eldest grandson of the Allen family, my husband Oliver Allen actually locked me in a freezer at 4 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. Oliver said, the Allen family's eldest grandson must be Nova's child. Nova has nothing, while you already have all my love. You should leave the family fortune to her child. Nova Robinson is the wife of Oliver's late elder brother, Joseph Allen. He also said, the freezer can delay your delivery. When it's your turn to give birth, then you can deliver. The excruciating pain of contractions made me wish I were dead. I threw aside all dignity and begged Oliver to take me to the hospital. But he actually kicked me down to the ground. Oliver said, don't think. I don't know what tricks you are playing. You just want to give birth early and then claim the inheritance my father left behind, don't you? How can you be so vicious? To compete with Nova for the family fortune, you're even willing to make our child premature. You are too cruel to our own child. My face was pale and I felt completely weak. But I still tried MV best to explain to him, my due date is within these few days. My child could be born at any moment. I promise my child will never compete for the family fortune. I can even write a guarantee. Right now I just want my child to be born safely. I gasped and promised her, I won't take a single cent of your family's fortune. Please explain the situation to Oliver. And let me out. I promise I'll never appear in front of your family again. Ella was annoyed by my screaming. She frowned and cursed. Are you sick? Why are you screaming so loud? Anyone can scream. If you scream again, I'll have someone sew your mouth shut. After saying that, she picked up her phone and made a call. 4/6. The bone-chilling cold in the freezer and the intense pain in my body made me feel extremely miserable. Ella said into the phone, Oliver, don't worry. I'll keep an eye on her. When I heard Oliver's voice on the phone, a glimmer of hope ignited in me again. I shouted toward the door, Oliver, the baby is about to be born. Please have Ella take me to the hospital. At this point, I was screaming uncontrollably from the pain. Ella hesitated a bit and said quietly into the phone, Oliver, she's not really about to give birth, is she? Her voice doesn't sound like she's pretending. Maybe I should take her to the hospital first? After all, you might only have this one child in your lifetime. If something happens to this child, you'll regret it. Oliver paused for a few seconds on the phone, as if thinking. Then he softened his tone and said, you first take her. But just then, Nova's delicate voice suddenly came through the phone. Oliver, I want pizza. Right now. The doctor said I need to eat. Eat well to have strength for delivery. Is Natalie about to give J1844 birth? Don't worry. Giving birth doesn't hurt at all. I don't feel anything. Look, I can even get up and dance for you right now. I believe Natalie is just like me and won't feel any pain. Of course Nova wouldn't feel pain. Oliver had arranged a private hospital costing $150,000 per day for her. She was being taken care of perfectly in every aspect. Taking Nova's word for it, Oliver coldly scolded Ella over the phone. What kind of accident could she possibly have? She's so scheming, there's no way she'd put herself in real danger. She's just screaming and yelling on purpose, trying to get you to let her out. Don't let her fool you. With that, Oliver hung up. Furious at being scolded by Oliver, Ella actually put her pet snake into the cold storage room. She said, this is all your fault. You can stay here and have some fun with my snake. The next second, a cold snake coiled around my neck. I screamed and cried in terror, but the snake suddenly tightened its grip around my throat. I was suffocating. I tried to breathe deeply and stay calm. Then, supporting my belly with one hand, I mustered the courage to grab the snake with my other hand, trying to pull it off my neck. But the snake bit my hand. The pain made me immediately pull back, and I didn't dare touch it again. If possible, I hoped that in his next life, he could be born into a family where the father loved the mother. Only then could he be truly happy. My breathing grew weaker and weaker, and all the blood in my body seemed to freeze. Just then, someone suddenly opened the cold storage door again and turned on the lights. The sight of me lying in a pool of blood startled them. I used all my remaining strength to crawl toward them, making a weak sound, "Save me." The person's voice trembled with fear. He asked me, "Who are you? What did you do? How did Mr. Allen end up punishing you by throwing you in here?" The person looked at me with wariness. I said, "I'm Oliver's wife." I struggled to extend my blood-covered hand, the diamond ring on it so stained with blood that its original appearance was unrecognizable. I said weakly, "This is the one-of-a-kind diamond ring he gave me." Seeing the ring, the person recognized who I was. Just as he was about to help me up, he hesitated and took out his phone to call Oliver. He said, "Mr. Allen, I encountered your wife when I came to pick up goods. She's covered in blood. Should I take her to the hospital right away?" Oliver sounded puzzled on the phone. "Blood? She actually hurt Ayla's snake so badly that there's blood all over the floor. No wonder Ayla is so upset." His attitude became even more resolute. Oliver added, "You don't need to take her to the hospital. That's not her blood. She's fine. I'll come pick her up myself later." The worker wanted to explain further, but Oliver ruthlessly hung up on him. He walked past me helplessly. After moving the goods, he came back to my side. He seemed to struggle with his conscience for a long time. Finally, he said, "You're pregnant. I can't just leave you here. I hope my actions will bring luck to my wife and the baby she's carrying." Then he dragged me out of the cold storage and called an ambulance for me. The moment I was rescued, my heart finally relaxed. But when I arrived at the hospital, there wasn't enough equipment available for me to give birth. It turned out that Oliver, worried about complications during Nova's delivery, had reserved all the equipment at this hospital exclusively for her use. My condition was critical. To ensure my safety, the doctors had no choice but to transfer me to the well-equipped private hospital. The doctor found the number labeled, "Honey," in my contacts and called Oliver. The doctor said, "Hello, you Natalie's family member? Please come to the private hospital immediately. She's in a dangerous condition with risk of amniotic fluid embolism." Oliver was clearly impatient on the phone, suddenly raising his voice and roaring, "Natalie, you're really something. You actually escaped and got someone to trick me. Let me tell you, even if you die, I won't come over. I know your body better than anyone. There's no way you'd have complications. Just wait for the baby to come when it's time, and stop using these disgusting tactics to manipulate me." Helicopter and carried me aboard. The aircraft was fully equipped with medical facilities. The doctors performed an emergency delivery. Dozens of scalpels moved across my lower abdomen. Even with anesthesia, I could still feel the pain. After a long time, one doctor suddenly sighed in relief. "The baby's out." But I didn't hear the baby's cry. My heart felt like it had been slashed with a knife, and dread filled my mind. I choked out, "Is my baby healthy?" Doctors quickly pressed me back onto the bed and said, Seriously, don't worry. The baby's condition isn't great and needs to be taken back to the island for treatment. My mind went blank, and I just kept nodding. As the plane took off, I suddenly called out to Everett's right-hand man, Jackson Williams. After I leave, what about Oliver? He'll definitely search for me desperately. Jackson patted my hand. Don't worry, your father has already arranged everything. Meanwhile, Oliver stood guard outside Nova's operating room. The moment the doors opened, his first concern was whether Nova was safe. In the hospital room, Oliver held Nova's baby, his eyes full of joy. This child looks just like you, equally beautiful. After saying this, Oliver suddenly paused. He thought, who would Natalie's child look like? If it's a girl, she'd probably look more like Natalie. Then that child would definitely be even more beautiful. After coaxing the baby to sleep, Oliver turned to leave. He thought, it's already the second day now. I should go get Natalie from the cold storage and bring her to the hospital. Just then, John suddenly appeared. Oliver threw the cold storage keys to John. Drive to the cold storage and bring Natalie to the hospital. John didn't dare look up at him, his eyes full of fear, standing there trembling and not daring to move. Just as Oliver was getting impatient, John suddenly said tremblingly, Mrs. Allen and your child are both dead. Oliver froze. He staggered back a few steps, but quickly regained his composure. He said, how is that possible? She was fine when I left the cold storage. There's no way she could be dead. This has to be one of her tricks to make me care about her. Didn't I tell you not to believe her? John was so frightened that he bent over, his body trembling. He said, Mrs. Allen's body is right outside the cold storage. The police have already run DNA tests and confirmed it's Mrs. Allen. Panic began to show in Oliver's eyes. He snatched the cold storage keys from John's hand and ran toward the hospital exit, shouting, we're going to the cold storage now. John didn't dare delay and immediately followed. Oliver drove at top speed, reaching the cold storage in less than 20 minutes. A crowd had gathered around the entrance to the cold storage. Oiga pushed through the crowd, breathing heavily, create a fake body that was 99% similar to me, then placed it in front of the cold storage. What Oliver saw was this fake body. However, my baby was just too small and ultimately couldn't be saved. I secretly hid under the covers, covering my mouth as I cried softly. I had tried everything possible, but in the end, I still couldn't save my child. I thought, he must be blaming me, right? The more I thought about it, the more heartbroken I became. Suddenly, the lights in the room were turned on. I frantically wiped away my tears. Then I heard a familiar voice, Natalie. It was Everett. His magnetic voice instantly filled me with a sense of security. He said, the child's death isn't your fault. It just means you two weren't meant to be, Everett continued. The fact that you two met at all used up all your destined connection. You were briefly his mother, and that's okay. You'll have children in the future. He sighed softly, his face full of heartache. Everett added, but if you're heartbroken over that bastard, then it's really not worth it. I never approved of you being with him in the first place. You were so stubborn that you were willing to cut ties with me just to be with him. I poked my head out from under the covers, looking at Everett's increasingly aged face, and couldn't help but cry again. I choked out, Dad, I was wrong. Please forgive me. I'm not heartbroken over him, I just feel sorry for my child. Everett gently wiped away my tears and said, silly girl, You're my only precious daughter. How could I not forgive you? Then Everett's eyes turned fierce. He clenched his fists and said, Oliver dared to hurt you like this, he's really asking for it. Natalie, don't worry. I'll definitely get revenge for you. Quickly tried to calm Everett down, telling him not to be angry. When I turned 18, I grew tired of life by Everett's side and secretly ran away from the island despite his objections. After leaving, I met Oliver. He was the first guy who ever made my heart flutter. I stuck to him like glue after that. And no matter how much he tried to shake me off, I wouldn't leave. Shortly after Oliver and I got married, I became pregnant. But from that point on, Oliver started getting annoyed with me. I never told him my true identity, so in his eyes, I was just some orphan with nothing. He thought I married him just to get pregnant and fight for his family's assets. To make matters worse, Joseph died unexpectedly around that time. To honor Joseph's dying wish, Oliver began doing his best to take care of the pregnant Nova. Throughout my entire pregnancy, he looked at me with cold eyes and really gave me warm smiles. But from Oliver's subtle behaviors, I could tell he actually loved children. So I kept thinking that once the baby was born, maybe everything would get better. But I never expected that before my child could even be born, such a huge disaster would strike us. My heart died completely along with my child. Everett controls industrial chains throughout the entire United States and even Europe. Since Oliver had angered Everett, his company was probably about to face a massive crisis. In the days that followed, I put away my old stubbornness and began learning company management from Everett. I'm his only daughter, so his company will definitely be passed down to me in the future. Now I have no other thoughts. I just want to officially enter the company once my body recovers. I found a burial site for my deceased child on the island. Surrounded by the ocean, it's quiet and peaceful. I hope my child can be free from any constraints or people in the future, and at least have the right to choose their own life. I sat in front of the grave for a very long time, so long that I started imagining what my child's life should have been like. It wasn't until dark that a servant came to call me back for dinner. From that day forward, I completely emerged from past memories and would never long for the past again. I began learning to be like Everett, a ruthless businessman in the corporate world. But I really didn't expect Oliver to discover so quickly that the 374 corpse was fake. News of my death made the headlines. After learning of my death, he didn't bury the body. Instead, he cleaned it up and ate and slept with the corpse every day. When I saw the news, I was shocked by Oliver's behavior. As more time passed, that fake corpse showed no signs of decay at all. Oliver sensed something was wrong, so he had someone examine it. He discovered it was completely fake. Hope instantly reignited in him, and he deployed all available manpower to search for me. Oliver even announced that anyone who could provide clues about me would receive $100,000. Seeing this message, I could only think that Oliver had lost his mind. But it didn't matter. Everett's island was overseas, and Oliver wouldn't be able to find this place so easily. I didn't dwell on it and continued focusing on learning company management. I was a quick learner. After a month, I was qualified to join the company's senior management. That day, I had just finished a meeting when someone suddenly burst into the conference room. It was Oliver. I waved my hand, signaling the meeting attendees to leave first. Upon seeing me, Oliver's eyes instantly turned bloodshot. I said coldly, "This is the last time we'll ever meet." Then I picked up the documents from the table and turned to leave. Oliver was so shocked by my attitude that he stood frozen in place. The old me had been completely submissive to him and had never raised my voice at him even once. He couldn't accept such a drastic change. I walked out of the conference room, but Oliver suddenly rushed over to block my path. He said, "Natalie, take back what you just said right now. Don't you know that without me, you have nothing? What will you use to raise the child? You can't even afford baby formula. Do you want to starve the child to death? I don't know what methods you used to get into this company, but you're destined not to last here because you don't have the ability. Your final destination is still with me." His words made me laugh. Oliver overestimated himself far too much. He always thought he was so capable, but what he didn't know was that if Everett hadn't been worried about me suffering at his house and secretly promoted the Allen Group's development behind the scenes, the Allen Group would have gone bankrupt during that crisis long ago. Oliver was thrown off by my laughter, opening his mouth only to close it again. I rolled my eyes with a laugh. Then I said, "You're such an arrogant jerk." Oliver was so furious he couldn't speak, standing there pointing at me angrily. Just as I was about to leave, he suddenly grabbed my wrist tightly. He said, "Natalie, I won't let you leave me again. I'm taking you back today. You have no idea how much it hurt when I thought I was going to lose you. I've been going crazy missing you. This time, no matter how much you provoke me, I won't back down." Left with no choice, I grabbed my assistant. I said, "Go get my dad." After hearing my words, she didn't dare delay for a moment and quickly took out her phone to call Everett. Only then did I feel slightly relieved. Oliver carried me the whole way while sweet-talking me the entire time. I found it disgusting, so I pretended not to hear. When Oliver reached the company lobby, Everett hurriedly got off his helicopter and rushed to the lobby. The moment he saw Oliver carrying me, his eyes flashed with a vicious look. Oliver knew Everett was the chairman of this company. After seeing him, he didn't even dare breathe loudly, keeping his head down respectfully. However, when he reached my side, Everett directly snatched me from Oliver's shoulder. Then he threw a punch right at Oliver's face. Oliver lost 2 teeth from the blow. Everett pointed at Oliver and cursed angrily, "Oliver, I haven't come after you yet, and you dare to come knocking first, trying to take my daughter away." At this moment, Everett was furious and directly took out his phone to call Jackson. He said coldly, "Cut off the Allen Group's supply chain immediately." This sentence meant the Allen Group would go bankrupt, because aside from sourcing goods here, the Allen Group had no other suppliers whatsoever. Oliver was stunned by the punch and took a while to come to his senses. He asked in a trembling voice, "Are you really Natalie's father?" Oliver's voice trembled with fear. He kept begging Everett for mercy. "I meant no harm. Natalie and I are married. I just wanted to take her home." "I'm sorry, Mr. Everett Campbell. I didn't know Natalie had family." Oliver was as humble as a dog at that moment. Everett despised him and kicked him hard again. He said, "Take Natalie home? You want to keep torturing her? Let me tell you, bankrupting you is already my mercy. I really want to kill you and make you suffer the same pain my daughter endured." I patted Everett's back to calm him down. Oliver's eyes were red and swollen as he crawled to my feet like a dog, pleading, "Natalie, this time I truly want to treat you well when I take you back. I was blinded by money before, that's why I treated you that way. When I learned you had died, I really wanted to die with you. I can't live without you. Please forgive me this once. Alan. Group was founded by my grandfather. It can't go bankrupt under my watch. He looked at him with contempt. Rather than begging he 846 was really begging Everett. I thought I'd soften up, believing that approach would be more effective. Oliver lost all his former arrogance and began crying like a beggar. He grabbed my dress, repeatedly saying, "Please save me." I was extremely irritated. Just as he had once pushed me away, I forcefully pulled his hands off my dress. I took Everett's arm and left, seeing him off to his helicopter. With his busy schedule, he must have cancelled many appointments to come here for me. After Everett left, I hesitated for a long time before deciding to go back and find Oliver. This matter needed to be settled once and for all. Seeing me return, Oliver instantly became excited. "Natalie, I knew you wouldn't be so heartless." I stared at him coldly for a moment, then said, "Oliver, it's completely over between us. And there are no more ties binding us. My child died that day." My voice caught slightly as I continued, "My child was killed by you. If you had taken me to the hospital that day, my child wouldn't have died." I pulled out my phone, showing him photos of the grave, and added, "So don't try to threaten me with the child." I didn't want to say more. I put away my phone and turned to leave. After seeing the photos, Oliver completely broke down. With snot and tears streaming down his face, he begged desperately, "Natalie, I can accept the company going bankrupt now, but I can't accept being without you. When you're not by my side, my heart feels like it's been ripped out. Please come back to me. I truly know I was wrong. I'll make it up to you tenfold in the future." I laughed softly and said something that cut through his pride like a knife. "You're just a poor man now. What could you possibly use to compensate me?" After hearing this, Oliver froze in place. I didn't linger and turned to leave. That very night, I heard news of Allen Group's bankruptcy. Olia was hunted down by his former enemies. He didn't hide but walked straight toward them, letting them torture him. When he died, there wasn't a single patch of intact skin on his body. Before dying, Oliver kept repeating, "I must atone for my sins, atone for my child." I sat in front of my child's gravestone, playing this recording over and over again. I said, "My baby, the person who hurt you got what he deserved." Later, I adopted a cat. This cat was very intuitive and stayed by my side every day. Sometimes I feel like my child became this little cat to keep me company.